and I don't feel that I'm influential at all.
When you spoke about Paul last year and United, the suggestion here was that it was destabilizing. It was making life very difficult for Solskjaer and for the club.
I just expressed an opinion. I didn't want to cause any problem. Actually, the opinion that was a very, very, very simple one. And I didn't think that it destabilized anybody at the end, because they had a fantastic run, and they were even first for a period now in the league. Big players like Paul Pogba, you think, or Solskjaer, that won everything in his life, that he really gets destabilized by what Mino Raiola says. Wow, if I would have this power, FIFA wouldn't exist anymore. That's for sure.
Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Mino Raiola has spoken very openly, very candidly, very directly in the media about the futures of Paul Pogba and Erling Haaland. We're going to be going through that in today's show, as well as covering the big news that Chelsea reportedly will have a gigantic transfer budget this summer. Of course, a proportion of that is pumped in by Roman Abramovich. Some of it is through club turnover and profits, but also the sale of some players will go into it. And some expect Chelsea to spend, in terms of outgoing fees on transfers, north of £250 million this summer. Smash that like button for us right now. Sorry about the issue we had just prior to going live. I'm not too sure what happened there, but we lost the sound feed, so we had to start again. But it's an interesting one, what's going on right now with Manchester United and Mino Raiola with Paul Pogba. We're going to go through his comments in a bit more details, but I want your views and opinions. Haaland, and I suppose one of the problems with the Paul Pogba saga is what Mino Raiola did in this interview with the BBC in relation to Haaland, because he's now come out and said, and he's been quite candid about it, that 4 teams in the Premier League can afford him, 10 teams in Europe can afford him. The touting of the player has already started. Do Manchester United want to get involved again with Mino Raiola, with a player that is just going to be targeted, is going to be wanted, is going to be hunted by rivals for many, 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 many months? I want your views and I want your opinions on that, as always. Some of the chat coming in here. I hope Haaland goes to us, City, inshallah. Of course you do. Every single football fan on planet Earth should want Haaland. Every single football fan on planet Earth should want Haaland. If you don't, I have major concerns. This is a live phone-in show, so we are going to have your calls. We're going to listen to what you've got to say later on in the show. We're running our competition still in the lead up to the prize draw this week. You'll see here, I'm going to seal the envelope this morning. The envelope's being sealed. There it is, all done, all dusted, all sealed right now, right there. There's 3 phrases in here, or words. One of them, the word is going to be used during this stream. So keep your ears peeled, okay? Ears peeled, eyes peeled and ears open. The second one is the name of my favorite singer. So how well and how deep do you listen to the Football Terrace? I've mentioned it multiple times, who my favorite singer is. And the other one is the name of a Football Terrace panelist. They're the key phrases. If you super chat them right today, you go into the prize draw to win a My Secret shirt. My Secret shirt we will send out to you. It'll be the shirt of a top European team, plus other football memorabilia will be inside it as well. Josh here says, love the shows, mate. Here's a £5. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate the donation. But get yourself into the competition as well. Why not do that, mate? Get that done. There's no point you can write the names, but you've got to guess the name of the presenter. But you have to use you have to do it via a super chat to get involved. We're going to share the link very soon for you to come on and have your say in relation to what's going on and all that jazz with Mino Raiola. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm just, because the other stream's out right now and people are watching it. So I'm just trying to do one thing. Stream crashed. New one here. So hopefully they can get the link to the new one when they click on the old one, and it's all happy days. That's the point. So let me just pin that comment there, leave it up so people can be directed into the new one. There we go. See what some of your live comments here are saying. Actually, Joe, we'll do first before we do the live comments. We'll go through some of the key points that were said in this story. So this is what the BBC have had to say today. It says super agent Mino Raiola has become one of the most controversial and influential figures in world football. He says his clients include some of the name's biggest players: Pogba, Zlatan, Haaland, Marco Verratti. What a list of players he's got as well. What a list. What a list of players that he's got. In the interview that he gave, he touched on a wide range of situations. His prediction for Haaland, and that he's going to be a star of the next decade. He says because he didn't want to cause problems for Manchester United by saying that Paul Pogba was unhappy. He says, whenever I tell my opinion, everyone in England goes berserk. So what does this mean? He also goes on to talk. He talks very candidly about that. So when he speaks about Haaland, he speaks about he doesn't think there's any correlation here. He goes, the extraordinary talent, there's always spaces in people's squads for him. This is what he said. He'll be one of the future stars for the next decade because we see that stars such as Ibrahimovic, Ronaldo, Messi are coming to the end of their careers. How long can you still enjoy them? We don't know. So everyone is looking for the new generation. Because only a maximum of 10 clubs can afford to buy Haaland and give the platform you would like after you've been at Dortmund. I mean, see, they're the kind of damning. Do you see what I mean by the damning comments? Dortmund ain't keeping him. Literally, we need one of these. There's only 10 clubs out there that can give Haaland the platform after Dortmund. Stepping stone club, as I've always said. And 4 of those clubs are in England. Do you know what it is when it comes to this man? Nothing he says is wrong. It's just, it doesn't need to be said if you're one of the clubs, right? You don't need to hear that. If you're Dortmund, you don't need to hear this. And I also think if he joins Chelsea, if he joins Man United, this kind of talk doesn't ever go away. It stays forever. But 4 clubs in England, we know there's only 4 clubs in England that can afford him. City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United. No Arsenal, no Tottenham, nobody else in there. The other 6 clubs, Paris Saint-Germain, Barca, Bayern, Real Madrid, Juve, AC Milan. Would you say they're the 10 clubs that can afford him? The biggest clubs. The biggest clubs historically and financially, no doubt about it at all. On Paul Pogba, he says here, Mino Raiola sparked a major backlash in December before a crucial Champions League clash for United by suggesting Pogba's time at Old Trafford could be over. They really highlight that as well, the could be over part. He goes, I just expressed an opinion. I didn't want to cause any problems. He says, I don't think that I destabilize anybody because they had a fantastic run and they were even first for a period in the league. You think big players like Pogba or Solskjaer, who won everything in their lives, get destabilized by what Mino Raiola says? Come on, please. I don't talk about it anymore. It makes life a little bit boring, but this is what it is. So he's basically suggested, he goes, I tell my opinion. When I tell my opinion, everybody in England goes berserk and I am the worst agent or the best agent. He says the clubs get so stressed from the public and the journalists that I have learned not to talk about it anymore. So he's basically suggesting that he hasn't really given anything away about Paul Pogba's future. I still think Paul Pogba's future is open, although I do think I would say 80% going, 20% staying at the club. But Mino Raiola is very clever here. He knows exactly what he's doing with these comments. He knows exactly what he's doing with them. He knows that he can destabilize. He knows that he can cause a ruckus. And saying I'm not going to say anything is saying something. That's what I love about this. It legitimately is. But there we go. Then Mino Raiola's comments about Haaland and his comments about Paul Pogba. This, of course, in the wake of 2 things. The continual talk about will Paul Pogba stay on at Manchester United or not. That doesn't ever go away. It's always there. It's always being discussed. What do you think? Secondly, when it comes to Haaland, do you feel a bit sorry for Borussia Dortmund? He's already out here. Well, he started a touting now. 4 clubs in England, 10 clubs in the world can afford him. And the comment that stood out to me, and this is what puts me off Haaland coming to the club, it isn't even about the ability. It's the Only a maximum of 10 clubs can afford to buy him and give the platform you would like after you've been at Dortmund. So to everybody out there that keeps telling me Man United should be like Dortmund, barring being a well-run club, I don't want to be nothing like Dortmund. Dortmund, being like a Dortmund is accepting that you're rarely going to win major trophies. You're never going to keep a good group of players together. I don't want to be that. Who wants to be that? Unless you're below that level now, unless you're a West Ham level, a Dortmund level seems like a massive jump up. But when you've been where Man United have been, when you've been where you are, where City are now, why would you ever want to be like that? Not in a month of Sundays. Phrases in the envelope, Eleanor. No, Eleanor is not the name. Eleanor is not the name of the host in there. Favorite singer, Michael Jackson. Close, but no cigar. Keep the guesses coming in, people. Keep the guesses coming in. Or the minimum super chat's like 99p. It's whatever the minimum one is, mate. You could have a little guess on there as well. But if you get outbidded, so if two people put them in at the same time and some person's put 5 and one person's put 99p, we go for the highest bidder. So make sure you get your bids in. One of the viewers suggested that yesterday. They thought that was fairer. So yes, if they get it right and we announce it's right, you can't bid afterwards. But we do it in flurries like that. So keep your guesses coming in, people, right about now. Every club in Germany is a feeder club for Bayern. It's pathetic. This is almost true. This is almost true. Dortmund spelled doormat. Oh, there we go. I get you there. Man like Monsieur here says, always have doubts on transfers if Mino Raiola is involved. Shaq here says, Terry Pogba wants to go. We should let him go, as now we have the perfect replacement in Grealish. As long as we can land Grealish, but I hear you. Like, listen, I'm all happy for Pogba to move on and do his thing elsewhere. How about the Haaland situation, though? How long do you think Haaland will be at United until they start touting him somewhere else? In fact, how long do you think he'll be at any club before they start touting him somewhere else? And do you think clubs like Liverpool or Man City would put up with it? I don't think City would, you know. I think City are so powerful in so many ways. I don't think there'll be a word out of him, you know. I think he'll keep his mouth shut. I really do. South London's finest here. Football Terrace legend said Raiola doing Raiola things, just putting feelers out there for the summer. Absolutely. I hear you on that. Blue trying it here. He's put 4 names in. I'm going with your first name, which is KJ. And no, it is not KJ. Racy is his favorite singer, Prince. Absolutely not. It is not Prince. The favorite singer, the name in the envelope is not Prince. It's not KJ, and everything else like that. So a few other highlights of what Mino Raiola said here. He said that he predicted Dortmund striker Haaland will be one of the best stars of the next decade. He was bothered by the perception of agents, but his players don't call him a parasite. So it's interesting that he's very aware that he's like very conscious of being called a parasite. Doesn't want to be known as a parasite. He didn't want to cause a problem when he said that Pogba was unhappy at Man United. He says agents are prepared to go to court over FIFA ridiculous plans to regulate their activities, basically stop them from making money. And he held the English League, the EFL, recent withdrawal, the proposal of salary caps for players after a tribunal saying it was a logical victory. Yeah, listen, I don't believe in pay caps. I believe in a free market, and I don't think we should be restricting that. So I agree with that with Mino Raiola. The third phrase in the envelope, remember, is a word that we have said from the article relating to Mino Raiola today. So get those in. Monsieur says Mino Raiola is toxic, always doubts transfers. We're going to share the link now for you to call on, for you to come on and have your say. We're going to put that link on the Discord server for you guys to come on and speak and say your opinions on these stories. Chelsea fans, I really want to hear from you. Big rumors that you're going to have a massive transfer budget of over £260 million this summer. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on that. We've shared the link now. It's on, and a lot of you messaged me on Discord saying, where's the link shared? Unless we tell you otherwise, it's always on the general chat page. Always on the general chat page. So the link's now shared over there for you to get yourselves over to there and get it done right now. I'm not reading that one out. Harrison here says, just a thought, rivals of United say Bruno's not better than KDB because he needs to prove it for longer and needs to win trophies. Yet they all say Haaland is better than Rashford. Mad logic that. Listen, people will always put logic in place that stops somebody they dislike from being lauded or raved about. That's just general human nature. As far as I'm concerned, I see that all the time. So that's not, but the logic will always bite them in the butt. There's always an example. You know, you see how yesterday when we did the other day, we did the world class show, everyone's saying that Aguero, it wasn't Aguero, it was a certain player they were talking about. I can't remember who it was, hasn't done it in finals. So he can't be, until he does it in finals, can't be world class. Like if you don't, they said, if you don't do it in finals, you're not world class. But they all said that Thierry Henry was world class. You need to be very careful with these definitions. But I hear what you're saying there. We're going to go to the first caller of the day. We're going to get Mark on the show. Mark, and welcome back to the Terrace. What you saying, mate?
Hey, Terry, how you going, brother? Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. What do you want to say?
I wanted to say, actually, I found Mino Raiola's press release statements in the press to be really quite positive. I didn't think they were as bad, maybe, as some people think. I think it was more like he was trying to back away from the negative statements he'd made in the past, and I really saw it as a potential door opening for Pogba to maybe sign a new contract at Manchester United. I think there's been a bit of a sea change there. The football is playing how he feels about the club. You know, the way he's played since the comments by Raiola, I think are very telling. You know, that showed where his heart is a little. Like, maybe I'm just a sucker for Paul Pogba and I always want to forgive him because I'm such a big fan of him as a player. But I also thought, you know, Raiola's greedy. Number one, he's such a greedy guy, Terry. And he doesn't ever want to shut out, you know, we're the richest club in the world, really, probably, if not the richest, in the top 2 or 3. And basically he can't afford, you know, to punish himself by denying himself access to one of the biggest bank accounts in football. And that's the reality of Mino Raiola. You know, he doesn't have a good relationship with City. You know, and I think there's every chance that Haaland and Sancho might end up at United. It just depends. Do we want to have to deal with Mino Raiola? You know, because that guy is.
Yeah, and I understand that as a thought process. That makes sense, and I think that's the key here. The weakness of men and people like Mino Raiola is the fact that they want to make money, and when you want to make money, you will always bend in a position. We see this all the time, right? I even see this in the YouTube sphere. Everybody's always going on about mental health and let's denounce bigotry and stuff like this. But there'll be a massive YouTuber out there who does something that's terrible to someone's mental health. But because it's like, but I need to be friends with that person because they help my videos get traction or they help me get traction, I'm not going to denounce it. Like, everybody does it at some level when they're trying to make money. And I understand that logic to an extent. Is because you're thinking about your family, you're thinking about paying your bills is more important than sometimes the social sort of morality surrounding an issue. And that's what's happening here with Mino Raiola. He's thinking, okay, I might lose a little bit of face now by backing down slightly with the thing with Man United, but it might mean that I make an extra 20, 30, 40 million pounds in the next 10 years. That's more important to Mino Raiola than his own integrity and thoughts. But this is what most people in life at some stage, and I put myself into this category, will do this. Most people at some point will yield or bend on morality or turn a blind eye to something if it means they continue to make money. So I think you're absolutely right to pull on that thread, because Mino Raiola is like everybody else. He's a human being. And I think with the financial difficulties that European clubs are facing because of COVID, it's only those 4 English teams he mentions, which we pretty much know are City, Chelsea, United, Liverpool. Those 4 English teams he mentioned I think are going to be imperative to him. And whether it's them signing his players or them being involved in the bidding process, they are either one of those 2 reasons, whether they're in for the player or they're the ones that sign them. They are going to make him big money in the next few years with the players that he's got on board and the players that he'll sign up. So yeah, I think you make a lot of sense there, Mark.
Yeah, I think he's definitely trying to show United with this current statement that, hey, you know, I am open to, like, maybe being silenced or agreeing to some sort of stipulation in the contract where I won't say certain things. I won't stir trouble. I won't try and agitate for a move for the player within so many years, or, you know, et cetera, you know, or that it'll be vetted in some process. Because I definitely think that Mino Raiola, it's like exactly as you say, Terry, everyone has a series of like what's important to them, you know, and without a doubt, you don't have to be like Sigmund Freud to know that what's important to Mino Raiola, number one, is the dollar, you know. Idealism is far down. He will say and do whatever he feels he needs to make the most money for himself out of his clients, you know, and that's why he's a good player manager.
Well, that's the whole point. I think the one thing about agents that I always support is they do stop players as a general rule from being exploited by clubs. With all due respect to a lot of football players, they spend their whole lives, some of them become quite well educated, some of them are educated to a good degree and focus on education whilst coming up, but most it's football. They don't maybe necessarily have business mindsets, as an example, and the agents are there making sure they get paid what they're worth. Because if the club could get away with it, the clubs would be paying them. Like if a Premier League club could get away with it, they'd pay Paul Pogba $5,000 a week if they could, $1,000 a week. Like they would save, like the Premier League owners. Think about Man United's owners. Imagine they could save £100 million a year in not paying it to the players in salary. Imagine what they do with that money. That goes straight into their coffers. So I like the fact that football players, who are the main attraction of football, take a huge percentage of the money that comes into the game. Imagine we could all do that in our various trades. You know, if we're working for somebody, by the way, not if you're a business owner, but imagine you could you work in a bank and you generate in terms of income for your bank in a year, £500,000. You're probably paid less than 10% of that by the end of the year in terms of what your salary and everything else is. Imagine you could dictate and you could negotiate and you could get 25% of it, 30% of it. That's one thing I love what agents have done. They've taken a huge percentage of the money that comes into the game and they've given it to the players. And most players come from poor working class backgrounds globally, and that money gets fed into those communities and into those families. So I love that element. But you can control that element, because if you cut the source of money off the people that love money, they change their morality. They change their integrity. They change their stance on things. It's really quite simple. Mark, thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really, really appreciate that, bro. Speak to you again soon, buddy. Everyone who's watching, smash the like button. Share this stream on your social media platforms now. Big shout out to our title sponsors, Manscaped. You can still get 20% off all of their male grooming products on their website. The link for that is in our description below. So a few updates on the phrases, the envelope phrases that we've got to go into the prize draw today to win the shirt. My favorite singer, no, is not Prince. Somebody suggested Prince. It isn't Prince. Blue came in with a load more names because we've got 3 names in here if you've just tuned in. So one is my favorite singer. It's been mentioned on the show many times. The other is a phrase we've used today already to describe a word used in the Mino Raiola article. The other one is the name of one of our presenters, in relation to that. So we're going to go through some of these here. You've mentioned Michael Bublé before. That's what Ryan Moss has said. No, it's not Michael Bublé. Blue put in lots of different presenter names. I'm taking your first name on the list, which is Igal. And no, the name is not Igal. Nick here says, Terry, as a United fan, would you take Kante if Chelsea were willing to sell him? Yes, I still think Kante's got legs. I still think Kante's got something to give in football, so I would. We have a winner for one of the names in the hat. It's here we go. If there's any justice in the world, Lamar, you're right. My favorite singer is Lamar. So thank you very much for your super chat, bro. I'm going to take a note of your name right now. I'm going to write that down. You go into the prize draw to win the My Secret shirt this Friday. We'll be doing the draw live on the air, so make sure you're tuning in and you're ready for that. Daily Smith here says Anita. No, it's not Anita. Anita is not the name of the panelist stroke host that we have on the show. Guess the word as well. It's a very standout word. We'll keep giving you clues throughout the course of the show. Stacey here says, even though I dislike Raiola, I hope we can get Haaland this season. I'm thinking Pastor KJ. It isn't KJ. It is not KJ. So keep those super chats coming this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're sharing this stream on your social media platform. Next up, really excited to get this man back on the show. Man like Chucky back in the house. How's it going, brother?
Yo, what are you saying, man? You good? You good?
Man's sitting there like an urban Hugh Hefner, bro, with the dressing gown on. Good. Loving that, brother. Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm cold, bro. That's why I'm not starting on people, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the hair, boy, it's been a while, no trim, you know. So yeah, let's keep it all locked up, man. That's why I'm looking like this, man.
Bro, you know what's mad? I wear the hat more than ever now because like my hair is just because I don't want to shave it off again. My hair is looking. I've never had hair like this where it's just so out of shape. There's no shape to it. It's honestly, bro. I look like my hair looks like I'm homeless, bro. It's terrible. Like it's a madness. It's a madness. In terms of yourself, mate, I mean, what do you make of Raiola's comments today?
Well, Raiola is where he is, man. He's not, you know what? I have to agree with him. He's not a parasite. He's a leech. That's what he is, isn't it? He's a leech, not a parasite. He's a leech. And one thing I do have to say about Raiola, you kind of touched on it, which is one thing I do have to agree, is his players that he has under his wing, well, they looked after him. That's one thing I definitely do have to point out that they are definitely looked after. And I'm guessing outside of the money, he goes a little bit further because some of them go past liking him and they flipping lob him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pogba is a respectable person. Pogba is a peaceful person. So outside all the smoke and mirrors of the pantomime that comes to Raiola, there's obviously somebody there who cares. So yeah, that's that aside. And our problem as a club is Mino Raiola's priority is not us, and it will never be us. So his interest will not be us. It will be money first of all, the mullah. Then after the mullah, it will be the individual player that he's looking after. So his comments make no real difference. It's no surprise, no shock. His interest will be in making money and then also looking after his players. So all this now, we most of us, as in the fan base, don't like Raiola. Give us a Haaland, we forget that, and that's just most of us.
Well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, I think one of the issues we've had with Raiola is that, and it isn't Paul Pogba's fault. We've had lots of good moments and times out of Paul Pogba. The problem is the team and the club hasn't been run well enough for us to yield the best results. So as we revealed on the show the other day, we know how good Bruno Fernandes has been in the last year. He's scored so many goals for us that he's already 9th. He's already in the top 10, number 9, in the all-time goal-scoring list for Man United midfielders within 1 year. And I thought, that's amazing. But then when I did the research and looked into this, Paul Pogba's number 8. Juan Mata is number 6 on that list. But nobody's looked into these achievements from these players because, and by the way, everybody else that you find in the top 10, the volume of games they played, the years they were at the club in comparison to these guys, although Juan Mata has actually been there quite a while, but he's barely featured for 2 or 3 years. To be in that top 10 for Paul Pogba is amazing, but we don't notice it because we're not looking for those kind of records because the club invariably for the last 8 years has been awful in terms of where we're finishing. Paul Pogba's always had a rough ride, and it was kind of sold to us, and I really do feel more so by the media, that Pogba was going to be the guy that comes in and saves us. And the club weren't ready for him to save us. Like, he's had so many good performances, so many good moments, so many good runs, so many good games, but the teams let him down, or the teams let us down as fans. And it stood out to me massively this season when Paul Pogba was on that great run. Everybody's like, see, this is the Paul Pogba I wanted to see. And I thought, nah, see, you're getting it wrong. We've had these moments from Paul Pogba, match-winning goals, match-winning performances. The problem is he'd do it for 4 or 5 weeks. And then he'd have a couple of 2 or 3 lesser games where he was good, but not the star guy. And nobody else in the team was stepping up and taking that mantle from him. So what would happen is Paul Pogba would get blamed. Oh, see, because Pogba's not in form, we're rubbish. I need Pogba to be brilliant every day. What, like all players? Like, who is good every single game? No one. So then what happens is when the agent starts trying to defend his client and maybe get him out of that environment, they turn on the player even more because they're like, oh, you're this, you're that. If Man United had won 2 or 3 league titles in this last little bit of time, we'd be a lot less triggered by Mino Raiola's comments because we wouldn't care. You know, it's like the whole, why the lions care about what sheep have got to say. Right now, we feel vulnerable as a club because we know losing Paul Pogba's and not signing Haaland gives us even less opportunity of winning things. And I just think there's a happy medium here where we probably need to manage our relationship with our players and agents better. At the same time, We just need to go out there and fucking achieve, bro. If we go out there and win, if we go out there and win games, win trophies, all this nonsense goes away.
You know what? The Haaland situation. You there? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Oh, sorry. Can't for a second there. The Haaland situation is almost perfect for all parties. And why I say almost perfect for all parties is, first of all, Haaland coming to Manchester United, 100% will improve Manchester United. And the sort of player Haaland is, he would want to come to Manchester United over other clubs is because he want to be the guy. I'm the one who brought the championship. You know what I mean? He's got that sense of arrogance, definitely about him. The other side of things, Mino Raiola is perfectly, he's not stupid, he's perfectly clear. The profile of his player will improve and take him to exactly where he needs to be, which might not be at Manchester United though. So I see Haaland as a 3-4 year, kind of like Pep Guardiola. I see Haaland as a 3-4 years per club sort of guy. But to get to that next stage, you might think go to Madrid, but United is absolutely perfect to get him to that next stage, to be Ballon d'Or winning select, and then he can go to his Barcelona or even back to Germany or whatever, Madrid, which also looks like a good prospect. So right now it's absolutely perfect. And so Mino Raiola is in his interest to fix relationship with Manchester United, because, like I said, it's almost perfect. It's a perfect storm for all parties to perform, because you know he's going to get goals there at United. You know he's going to get opportunities. You know he's going to start. You know his social media profile will fly up. You know he's going to get endless amounts of new endorsements that he ain't going to get elsewhere. So it's actually perfect. So what Mino Raiola is doing right now is protecting his future as in player and his own profile as an agent. That's how I see it. So it all makes sense.
I agree completely. And I think Dortmund was the perfect stepping stone for them. Get that buyout clause in there, build yourself up more, and then we sell you and get you an even bigger deal, and you get it even sooner. And it's Mino Raiola's job is to make their players not just their job is to make themselves the best they possibly can be on the field of play. His job is to get them as much money as possible. And what Mino Raiola also knows is that the Mbappe versus Haaland situation is it's a marketer's dream. It's going to make so much money. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're also keeping Haaland's options open, and they've wanted to keep his options open now for a couple of years, because I think they're going to want to try to get him into the same league as Mbappe. Mbappe versus Haaland is great. If one's in England and one's in Spain, it will still be very, very good. It'll be potent. If you get them into the same league and into rival teams, imagine this. Liverpool do pull off the signing of Mbappe, and then City or Man United bring off the signing of Haaland. You get two. If it's Man United and Liverpool, it's gargantuan. If it's Man United and Man City, which is likely, it's still very, very big. They're competing in the same league in rival teams going for titles. Financially, for both players, it's the best option. And so that for me is what I think the agents are going to be angling at here is they look at everything. Best place for you will come first, is in winning trophies, legacy. But then, okay, well, if you're if Haaland's 50-50 between Real Madrid and Man City as an example, we'll just use them two clubs. We'll keep Man United out of it because it triggers people. Mm-hmm. And Mbappe goes to either of those leagues, I think Haaland will follow, because I think Haaland, okay, I want both those clubs, but I want to go where he is because I want to prove I'm the best.
Wait, what's the time frame, do you reckon? The reason why I'm saying this is if you look at the whole Messi Cristiano thing, which is a perfect example, that's what media, football, and the leagues that they're playing will all be trying to recreate when. And the reason why I asked when is neither of them are ready to do that now. They need to be in that league for a good 5-6 years together, I reckon. So I think it's a bit soon for both of them. I feel like, and what you're saying makes perfect sense, but when I say when, I feel 2-3 years down the line I think I'll be looking.
And they may not make the moves at the same time. I think Haaland, there's a chance he could move this summer, but I think it's more likely to be the summer of 2022. So that's in a year's time. I think Mbappe the same. I think he'll do one more year at Paris Saint-Germain, and then he'll get his move. So they might not even enter the league at the same time. There might be a year 18-month delay between the two, but I think there'll be a longer-term vision. What they know is this: if one makes the move now, it narrows the other person's chances down, or narrows their avenues because they're committing to another league. And they're not going to coerce and do it together, but I think they both want it. And especially Haaland, with the way he was like, Mbappe scored, so I had to go out and score. You can already see that kind of generating itself. Listen, Chucky, great to have you on the show as ever, mate, and I'll speak to you again soon, bro.
Excellent.
Top man, take care. Thank you. Some more super chats have come in. Remember, we've got the phrases. One phrase already guessed today. My favorite singer, Lamar, is in there. Man like Kwamedman. I think it's Kwamedman is how you pronounce it. Is going into the prize draw to win the My Secret shirt on Friday. There's two more phrases or words, really. One is from the Mino Raiola article from the BBC that we read out to you today. It's a very standout word. The other one is the name of a host or presenter on the Football Terrace. Super chat that and go into the prize draw. Blue here says Alfie, Neeks, Kendall. I'm going to go with your first on here, and it is not Alfie. Agent Bad Vibes Lincoln, aka Duke, is what Matthew says. No, that is not. Next one from Blue says, is it Gem? It's not Gem. And Blue come in with another one and said, is it Alex? It's not Alex, and it is not Gem. You are narrowing these deals right down right now. DJ here says, Alex G, again, bro, you are being disrespectful to Chelsea. It won't be comfortable. Okay, you guys are chatting to each other. I thought that was a comment about what we're talking about here. The link, by the way, for you to call in is available on the Discord server, but I will share it as well for all of you in the live chat here. If you want to come on, if you want to have your say, I'd like to hear from you all this morning. Indiana says, I see Haaland staying at Dortmund. He very much could this summer. I think he very much could this summer stay at Dortmund, but we'll see how things transpire. Don't sleep on João Felix at Atletico Madrid. Move was not the one for him, but he is up there with Mbappe and Haaland, and he's technically better than them. That's a big statement there. Technically better than them. A lot of people would agree. Listen, I think you've also got to throw Jadon Sancho into this mix. I think you've got to throw Phil Foden into this mix. You definitely got to throw Marcus Rashford. I'm joking. I'm triggering people there. I'm sorry. I think that Phil Foden, João Felix, and look, let's watch the next 12 months. Let's watch the next 12 months of Mason Greenwood as well. I mean, the next generation of superstars are going to be absolutely amazing. I cannot wait for it. I cannot wait for it at all. Strip Bear here, one of our members and moderators, says, hit the like button. Let's get it done right now. Let's get this past 500 likes on this stream as we go. Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes is talented. I wouldn't put him on those guys' level, though. I wouldn't put him on the level of that. Daily here says, the standout word in the interview, could. It's not the word could. Good guess. Is it? Go read the interview, or just go back to what we said. There's a real standout word that was being used there for that. So keep your guesses coming in for us. We're going to go to some more calls right now. First up on the show, we're going to get Will. Will's on the show with us right now. Will, welcome to the Football Terrace. What do you want to say?
Hi, Terry. You all right?
I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm a Chelsea fan. And I think Haaland would be a perfect fit for the system that Tuchel plays. What we need right now is we just need someone that can finish them chances, them balls across the box that are being played by Hudson-Odoi and Alonso, all them. We just need someone that can get on the end of them, that's got the pace, that can just finish them off.
I hear you. Haaland would be perfect. I mean, the great thing about Haaland is he's such a potent striker. He's such a brilliant striker. He really, really is. So I totally get you on that. What do you make of the rumors today about the big transfer budgets at Chelsea? So there's rumors that there's going to be north of £250 million to spend this summer. I read I read it in multiple outlets this morning. It says here, Roman Abramovich to hand Chelsea the ability to spend over £260 million this summer to bring in the likes of Haaland and others. Do you think it will be a big summer of spending again for Chelsea?
I don't think it'll be as big as last summer, but I think it'll be the same amount of money, but for less players, if you get what I mean. So I don't know if it'll happen, but because his release clause is next year, Dortmund will probably ask north of like 110 million for Haaland. So that'll be where the majority of money goes to if we can get him. And then it'll just be like squad players that Tuchel wants, like a centre back maybe, or another like a centre mid if he wants one. I think that'll be where the money goes. But I think it'll just be one or two big signings for him.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I really do. Will, thank you very much for calling into the show and having your say. Really appreciate it, mate. I agree. I think Haaland will be a big chunk of that. But there will be the sale of players. This is the point. It will be the sale of players that really that generate some of this money as well. I think Ben Chilwell is almost a dead cert to go because he's not getting any opportunity at all under Tuchel. It says he's not part of the plans. I think Ziyech could be somebody that's out the door as an example as well. Kante is another name that keeps coming up. So you could see all three of those players leave. Those players collectively are raising you £100 million. £100 million those players are going to raise for you to be spent. Let's do some more calls here. Next up, we've got Max on the line. Max, welcome back to the Terrace. What do you want to say?
Terry, I just wanted to speak on Chelsea having 250 million. I can see Chelsea winning the title next year because when I look at their squad, I think about players that are on the out, and they might not lose money on players because when it's a manager change, you can normally get money because you can just say they fit the system, not just that they're bad players. So when you think about Chilwell, Pulisic, Tammy Abraham, Kante, Ziyech, all on the outer of this Chelsea squad right now, you can see 100 million plus, 150 million plus, and you think about the players that they could bring in, a Haaland, and it's a very dangerous prospect. And I heard the Chelsea fans saying that Haaland would be a great fit. Haaland's a great fit anywhere. He's quick, he's agile, he's first to the ball, and he's a great finisher. So
yeah,
everyone wants
yeah, no,
him.
I totally agree with you. I think there's Chelsea, if they sign these players with this Tuchel system, we saw last night, Tuchel's the real deal. Tuchel is the real deal. The way they outplayed, outperformed, and outworked at Atletico Madrid tells you everything. They just need to get Tuchel these players in, and you add Haalands and Sancho's to the team they've currently got. You know, this is what he kind of plays with, like these sort of the double tens, as you call them, or two attacking midfielders. That's a perfect role for a Jadon Sancho as well, because he can start in that, he drifts into that position anyway, so he can start there central and move out to the wide positions if he needs to. Chelsea under Tuchel, with the signings they're looking to make, they could easily win the title next year. So it's like, when I say easily, it'd be difficult for them to win the title, but in terms of they're an easy bet. It's you're not wrong to put your money on them potentially winning it. And it's under Tuchel, they're very, very scary indeed. Max, thank you for coming on the show and having your say. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Next up on the show, we're gonna get David. Is this Al David? He's got the same name. I don't know. The camera's not on, so I don't know. David, put your camera on. Let me see who you are, because you're using Al David's name, all right? And I want to make sure you're actually the David you're saying you are before I put you on the air, if that's all right. But he ain't putting the camera on, so I'm not putting him on. Next one, we're going to have Bison Beast on the show. Bison, welcome back to the Terrace, young man. What do you want to say?
Terry, I'm a City fan, and I wouldn't take Haaland at City.
Why?
We have already had two players. One of them, Terrace, who has created a lot of ruckus at City when he was here. So I think so. The club has learned not to bet into such players. Another reason is when we sign players, we want them to stay for a longer period of time. I don't see Haaland staying for more than 5 years. You look at the current signings. De Bruyne might stay for another 5 years. He's able to play at that level. Sergio Aguero, 10 years. Phil Foden might play throughout his career at City. We have had David Silva, who's played for 10 years, and I don't see Haaland playing for City for more than 5 years.
Wow, that's a big claim there. Do you know what's interesting? I've never seen City sign a player who's successful that they let go in their prime, barring Leroy Sané is the only one that stands out to me. I think that when I think City is stronger in the market and stronger in football than Mino Raiola. So I wouldn't worry or panic about that myself. Bison, thank you very much for all your contributions and calling into the show, and enjoy your shower, young man. All right. Take care of yourself And I'll speak to you again soon. I love the fact man's in his bathroom, bro. Love it. Next up, we're going to get David's going to be on in a minute. It is our David. He's now put his camera on. I weren't sure if it was someone trolling. We're going to get Mr. Anthony on the show. Mr. Anthony, welcome back to the Terrace. You're a Chelsea fan. What are you saying, brother?
How are you, Tay?
I'm very good.
Brilliant.
I'm very good. What do you make of this news that you're going to spend £250 million this summer? Haaland's on the agenda. Give me your thoughts.
What I was thinking is, I was listening to you and Chucky and the other United fan talking about Haaland might be able to come to United and maybe City and so on like that. To be fair, I was thinking it would be a great fit for us because he's like an upgraded version of a Giroud that we have right now, like a much upgraded version of Giroud like what we have right now.
Yeah, mate, definitely like a Ferrari is to a Ford Fiesta, but yeah, absolutely.
Exactly, and the thing is, with Werner and Haaland, I think it would be a match made there as well, because Werner likes to get in behind, and Haaland could be that target man as well, so he can do that job as well at the same time. And with regards to maybe Sancho coming in as well together with Haaland, that would be a match made in heaven as well. That might actually make Haaland sign for Chelsea if by chance Sancho signs for Chelsea. However, what I would see is like if we are going to be playing the 3-4-3 formation next year, this is something that I have been thinking, because if we are going to be playing that 3-4-3 formation, yes, we might ship out Ziyech, we might ship out Pulisic as well. We don't know. However, we still got one man called Kai Havertz and Mason Mount, who is actually outperforming this season. He has been immense. And if we get in Sancho, what are we going to do with Kai? Is he going to be playing down like where Kovacic or Jorginho plays? It's a very difficult thing.
This is what I've said. What's probably going to happen is you're going to have casualties. I'm not saying Kai Havertz will be one of them, but you will have casualties, and some of the 7 that you signed this summer will go. There's no doubt to me, bro. Thank you very much for your call and coming on and all your support on the channel, mate. Really appreciate it.
Always, Jay, and happy to be here. And it was brilliant to see the caterpillar, Mr. Prime, come out of his cocoon yesterday and smile for a bit. It was wonderful.
Bro, it's because he lost his virginity, bro. That's why he did it, bro. He lost his V plates.
And I actually guessed him as my super chat for the draw.
I'll go through those in a few moments, my friend. Thank you.
But telling you one thing, I do not. If I am right, I don't want it. As I told you before in another super chat, I'm like you. I would never wear that shirt if it's not from my team. Chelsea till I die, bro. I
love it. I absolutely love it. Top man, indeed you are. Listen, speak to you again soon, mate. All the best. Man like here, losing them V plates. Do me a favor, everyone who's tuning in, smash your like buttons right now. We're going to go through some of these super chats. Then David's coming on to reveal the mystery words in the envelope to go into the prize draw. So it isn't prime. Based on Mr. Anthony's super chat, it isn't prime. It isn't prime. Remember, you can't do a super chat and guess 2 different words. You need to guess one at a time. We're not allowing double entries here. Stacey says dealing with Raiola is like holding a poisonous snake. It's beautiful, but at some point it's going to bite you. Bits and bobs. It's not bits and bobs. Bits and bobs is not the mystery word. One guess at a time, please. One guess at a time. Let's do a few more of these. Blue F_FT. It's not Callum and it's not David. Cedric here says, who are the 5 clubs the Parasite says are the best? He doesn't say which clubs are the best. He has 4 clubs. He said the Parasite. I like that word. He says there's 4 clubs in England that can afford him. And we know who the 4 clubs are. It's Chelsea, City, Liverpool, United. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. So nobody yet has guessed. Oh, no, we do. We have a winner. Blue here put another super chat in and he guessed Kesh. Kesh is the name of the host in the envelope. It is Kesh. Well done, bro. So finally, just the word from the article remaining It's a specific word for the BBC article and interview about Mino Raiola. Super chat it in. One guess at a time, please. Get your super chats. Remember, the highest bid wins as well if you all guess the same one. So put that in right now. We've got David on the show. David, welcome back, mate. What do you want to say?
I just want Haaland. It's quite simple. I just want Haaland. I can't deal with Tammy Abraham anymore. He's like, that guy cannot play again.
Is it that much of an upgrade, though?
Is it that much of an upgrade? Honestly, I can't believe I heard one time I heard someone say, I don't want to sign Haaland because I'm worried about what it will do to Tammy Abraham's development. Quite frankly, I get 3 years out of Erling Haaland. It's more than Tammy Abraham's going to do in 12 years. So, he's one of those players where it's like, if you can have that player at your club for any amount of time, you take him because he's going to bring like that fear factor as well. Imagine that front line of Werner. You can have Werner, Havertz, Haaland, or some variation of that. Pulisic in there, Hudson-Odoi in there, Mount even. You can throw them all in, and it's just goals. It is just goals, goals, and more goals.
I also don't think people realize as well that Haaland is so special. So special. In the same way that Mbappe is special. Cristiano Ronaldo is like the greatest goal scorer ever. That's a fact. But it took him until his early mid-20s to really kick into gear. Haaland's already done that. Like, I did read something that Haaland would need to score, I don't know, like 30 goals a season for the next 10 years to match Cristiano. So it might be more around that time. But Haaland has the ability to do that. Like, it's always injury pending because you can't achieve what Messi and Ronaldo have done if you have major injuries in your career. Like, if bands are doing cruciates and hamstrings every couple of years, they're never going to achieve that. It's impossible. But if Haaland joins Chelsea, if Haaland joins City, if he joins Liverpool, or even Man United, who create a lot more opportunities than our fans pretend we do, you know, I had someone the other day telling me 2 big chances per game is rubbish. The greatest big chance created per game numbers by any team in the Premier League history was last season, actually, Man City, and they only created 2.5 per game. So, like, any of those clubs, Haaland's breaking the goal scoring record in the Premier League. I'm telling people that he's going to break that goal scoring record. He would almost be.
Well, yeah, if he was to stay here for long enough, yeah.
No, when I say that, I mean single season record. He'll come. He'll break the single record. He will be Harry Kane, Alan Shearer, Aguero, Thierry, and Rude. I would say are the best 3 goal scoring strikers the league's ever had. Haaland, in my opinion, can be better. He can be better. So it'll be such an amazing signing for anyone who gets him. He could be you could finish the season 20 points behind City. Haaland could make that gap up.
Yeah.
Because he would win you 20, 25 points a season. He will score you. He's a half chancer. And what I mean by that is he scores the tap-ins. And yes, he does miss chances, but he will also score you a goal every other game from chances that no one else is scoring. Does that make sense? Where it's like, oh, how did he put that in? How did he finish that? How did he move his body in time? And he's a freak as well because he's big, but he can move himself on a sixpence, which most big players can't do. They're a little bit, he's so bloody good. It's sickening.
Yeah, as I said last week, he's just got that ability to place the ball, but with a lot of power. Like that, like people don't understand how crucial that is because most times players can either do one or the other. They can't do both. When you have the ability to do both, goalkeepers are done for because if they know you can put the ball anywhere and they can't reach it, well, like they're gonna have. I have a feeling like goalkeepers even just try and gamble sometimes. They go, I'm probably not going to be able to stop it because you can just strike the ball harder than most players. So I'm going to have to dive either way and just hope. That's what he's like. So
yeah, no, I agree. I agree. So the record is 32 goals. The record is
he can do that easily.
I really think he can. I honestly, in the right system that create. I mean, at City,
no. He can't go to City. He can't. It's not fair.
If he goes to Manchester City, if he's fit, he'll break the 32 goal scoring record in his first season, and he'll do it within 30 games. I'm that confident in him. He'll do it in that amount of time, because City would just be, do you know, every game they're going to create one big chance for him every game and 2 or 3 half chances. His conversion rate
instead of Gabriel Jesus, it's Haaland.
This is the point. They create 2 to 2.5 big chances per game. One of them is invariably going to fall to him. Equally, they will create him 3 or 4 like chances per game, not big chances, but chances. His conversion rate is 50%. Right? So if he's getting 2 chances a game, it's one, like he's going to kill it. And then there are going to be some games where his conversion rate is even it's sickening. He's going to do it so easily. Not easily. Easily makes it sound like it's not a challenge. He's going to do it 30 games. If he's fit for the first 30 games of the season, he plays all those matches, Haaland breaks the record in 30 games. He's that good. Hello, Indiana's with us now. Indiana loves strikers. Indiana beats off the strikers. What you saying, bro?
Man, this guy is another level. I'm not sure about that one though, Terry, to be fair. But what I'm gonna say is
movement.
No, I love it, man. I'm not joking, I do love it. Strikers, I love watching strikers who just have that instinct, that next level. Because for me, they're like mutants. Elite strikers are like a mutant. They've got these special powers where they just get across the front post. They're already in the positions. They're poachers. I love it. But I want to know why Chelsea fans think Haaland is going to Chelsea, or why they are the favourites to sign him. Because that's how it's coming across to me, and I don't understand why that would be.
I don't think we're favourites. I just want him. That's all I said. Like
not you, David. I think like when I look on social media, it comes across like it's a done deal. Like Chelsea are the favourites, and
I feel like it's quite simply just because like fans want what they want, and when like a tier 1 journalist comes out and says Chelsea are going in for Haaland this summer, people take that as that. Well, they'll see the title as Chelsea in for Haaland, £100 million bid incoming, and they won't actually read it properly and just say Chelsea would like to, in theory, if they have the opportunity. But they'll read the title and be like, "Oh, it's done, sorted."
But I also think as well, Chelsea have got such a track record of they invariably land their main targets. So there is the element of if Chelsea want a player and Chelsea go in for him, there's always a large chance that they're going to be signed. And Haaland's different from other youngsters. Haaland isn't he's going to get better, but he's not a developing youngster. He's not this guy could be great. He's already a great goal scorer. He's not a great player yet because he's got to do it for more years. Everybody that's tuning in, smash that like button right now. Nearly 1,000 people tuning in. Not even past the 200 like mark yet. Come on, you're letting me down today, people. And Stacey, the phrase from the article is not bothered. So it's not that. Keep them guesses coming in. Quite a few of the members have put the comment in, but they haven't super chatted it. So get your comments in now to put yourself in the prize draw for my secret shirt. We're going to add Russell to the show. Not had Russell on in a while. Russell, welcome back to the Terrace, mate. What do you want to say?
Hi, what's going on, Terry?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. What do you want to say?
Well, first of all, shout out to all the Liverpool fans who were at my neck at the beginning of the season wanting me banned because I dared to question Klopp and the team. Look where you are right now. Big shout out to you guys. And I just wanted to talk about Haaland. I don't think he's a great player, don't get me wrong, but I don't think Haaland at Man City would work. And this is or at Chelsea even. I think it'd probably work at Chelsea more than Man City, but especially not Man City because of how Pep basically wants his number 9 to play. If you remember when he came in and Aguero was his number 9, it sort of changed Aguero's play, if I'm not mistaken. The way Aguero used to play under different managers was completely different under Pep Guardiola. He was more involved with the interplay, and I don't see Haaland as that kind of player. He's a ruthless finisher, but I don't think he's a quote-unquote a tiki-taka footballer, if you know what I mean.
Well, I think players like Haaland, I think he's a lot like Lewandowski's like this and Harry Kane's like it. They are deceptively good football players. But people just see the finishing. I've watched a lot of Haaland's play this year. There's a lot of good interchanges. They've got a lot of good. That's the one thing he has over like Lukaku's finishing is generally speaking on point with a lot of these guys. He doesn't, in my view, have the same approach play and footballing ability, which is why it's just a slight echelon down. But that's where Haaland is quality. Haaland's also ridiculously fast as well. A lot of people look at him, and do you know what they see? They see tall, they see lanky, they see blonde hair, they see pale skin, and they think slow. It's almost like it must be slow then. Geezer is rapid for his size as well. I think he could play Pep Guardiola football with his eyes shut, to be honest.
You think so? Because I watch him. Look, I watch Bundesliga every week. I'm in Germany, so I watch it every week. And I watch him, and I always think about Haaland coming to the UK. And my first thought is always, what does he do against the low block? I don't see what he does against the low block, against the, say, Southampton, low block. I don't see how Haaland could be effective in that game. I really, really don't.
I mean, to be fair, bear in mind that Dortmund's current manager and the way they're currently playing isn't the best, and he's still scoring loads of goals. So,
no, he's a fantastic player, absolutely brilliant player. Don't get me wrong. It's just there's this narrative that he works for any team, and I watch him consistently, and I genuinely don't think he does.
I think if you get a player like Haaland, right, who is at the elite level of strikers, is the small group of players at that level, you build around him, you play to his strengths. So we've seen it with Man United, right? You look at Man United, Martial, how many balls are we putting in the box? Not many, because that's not his game. He's not getting across the posts. Cavani comes in, all of a sudden, we're trying to play the crossing game. We're trying to put balls in the box for him. So you play to a player's strengths. And if you sign a player like Haaland, you adapt to suit him. That's what you would do.
That would be very terrible for a team like Man United, because what happens is, last time we did that, we only won one Premier League with Ruud van Nistelrooy. We switched that up. We brought a player who's more like Martial, Luis Saha. Martial probably even better. We win 3 on the bounce. You can't build your team around one striker just because they're world class. Unless it's Ronaldo and Messi. This narrative came with Ronaldo and Messi.
I think that's slightly disingenuous. One of the biggest reasons, or the biggest reason that Ruud was moved on, is because of his relationship with Cristiano Ronaldo and Fergie recognizing what Cristiano Ronaldo was about to bring. We would have still won if Ruud van Nistelrooy would have stayed part of Man United and he was on good relationship terms with the likes of Cristiano. We would have won those 3 titles on the bounce. Still, Ruud wouldn't have held us back in regards to that. Well, no. I agree. Where Man United was struggling in those years, where we only won 1 in those 4 years, is we needed reinforcements in midfield. We needed, defensively. We weren't at the same level that we were when we won those 3 on the bounce. When we had the likes of Patrice Evra and Vidic, that partnership there. We also had the goalkeeping issue in that time period as well. If you don't get me wrong, we didn't have. We were between Schmeichel and Van der Sar. So there's lots of other factors in that as well. It wasn't just we changed our style of play to accommodate Ruud. It was more.
I'll ask you, Terry, wouldn't you say Man United's most successful years have been when they had more than one focal point as their striker? So I'll go back to the 99 team, to the 08 team, to any team you would say was the most successful, had more than one focal point.
I'm going to answer you. We had more than one focal point when Ruud was there, because we also had, you're forgetting that we had Wayne Rooney there for a period with him as well. But okay, but let me just stay on this. Where you're being disingenuous is, or maybe you're looking at it differently, is Ruud van Nistelrooy was what I look at as like an old-fashioned striker. So he was of the ilks of the Felipe Inzaghi's of this world, the Michael Owen, the Ian Wrights, where they were goal scorers. They were not tap-in merchants, but they were always there for a tap-in. Good on the one-on-ones. They were main focal points. Haaland can play football. Haaland can drop deeper if you need to. He can move out to the wide areas and play in the channel very, very well. I've seen him play some wonderful sort of 1-2s and triangle works in football. He can do that. And on your point, so Ruud van Nistelrooy was a good footballer, but I do believe that the Haalands and the Lewandowskis and the Harry Kanes of this generation, they've moved up a level. In the same way that it's a warped view or a segue slightly, but in the same way goalkeepers now are better footballers than they were coming through academies 15, 20 years ago, like Ruud was. Strikers are more rounded in their game as well because football has moved on. So I think they would cope as well. Back to a point David made earlier. Gabriel Jesus is currently the alternative to what Haaland would be. And Haaland's a better footballer and a better finisher. And City still play with him as one of their main strikers, if that makes sense. So I don't think there's going to be any major issues in that. Against low blocks, listen, the Mahrezes and the Raheem Sterlings and the KDBs, they're going to open those teams up. And when those balls go across that 6-yard box, which they do invariably, or they get fed into the 6-yard box, that man's going to be in there sweeping up, cleaning up, and burying that ball. But, bruv, listen, really, really good call. Thanks for the challenge. Not a problem at all. We like the challenge here at the Football Terrace. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, you know, I always come with the alternative opinion.
No, and it's fine. Listen, that's what we want. Listen, I hate it when if every caller come on and just agreed with what we were saying, it would be very, very, very boring here.
And it's evident I'm a big fan of the show. You know the whole story, man. Come on.
Absolutely. Listen, speak to you again soon, Russ. All the best, mate. Take care of yourself. Yeah, I don't agree. It is what it is. It's the football for strikers that you don't really get very many strikers like that anymore. One of the last guys that came through that was sort of goal scorer only, I remember, was Javier Hernandez. I can't think of very many where you look at them and goal scoring and hold up play is all they've got. Like youngsters coming through, they've all got more to their game, or they try to, and then they end up like Tammy. Next on the show, we've got Thomas Owen. Thomas, welcome to the channel. What do you want to say? Nothing. Okay, we're going to go to Mohammed next. Mohammed, welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, bro. What do you want to say?
Okay. Big up to you and also to David, all of you. Now, about Mino Raiola. Mino Raiola is being Mino Raiola. I'm not surprised at all when he said that. You know, he never trusts transfers, always talks about Man United. I mean, how many numbers he had with Man United? I lost counts, really. I really lost counts. But no, I think Man United should keep Paul Pogba for sure, because Paul Pogba is a fantastic player, fantastic midfielder, and he could help Manchester United to win the league next season or the year after. About Chelsea, you said about the 250 million to spend in the summer transfer window. Yes, I'm sure they will spend big in the summer because I'm sure they'll finish in the top 4 and challenge for the title next season. I'm sure they could sign Haaland, maybe Sancho. I'm sure they'll sign a new left back. So yeah, I'm expecting to spend big. You know, they've got a quality manager. You know, you saw when they played against Atletico, they were really good. They didn't create many chances, but they were really good and Tuchel outclassed Simeone. So yeah, you know, when as a City fan, you know, it's going to be a big, you know, it's going to be City between Chelsea and maybe United, maybe Liverpool. You know, it's going to be a big title race next season. So yeah, it will be especially hard for us to defend the title in the next season. So
I hear you on that.
All the titles this season, but so yeah.
I hear that. Mohammed, thank you very much for calling in, bro, and having your son. I appreciate that.
Can I
oh, yeah, go on, mate. Go on.
I'm a Man City fan, okay? So after the Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Man City game, I want to join, okay?
We'll share the link, and you're more than welcome.
Join.
Yeah, we'll share the link. You can call in. Not a problem. Take care, mate. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye. A question for David and for Indiana here. Oh, Indiana dropped out. Do you think if you sign Haaland and Sancho, you can win the league?
If we sign Haaland, no, we won't, because our defense isn't good enough. Quite simple. Like the midfield will do all right. Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante between the three. You can work something out with them. Billy Gilmore, if you want to throw him in there, whatever. But the defense is the major problem. You need another centre back and probably a left wing back or a left back who can do both. So again, Hakimi would be ideal. I mean, again, I prefer Hakimi on the right more than on the left, but I'm sure he can play on the left as well. But I'm sure there are other options out there. Centre back wise, you just need someone who can just someone who's better than Zuma or Christensen, Rudy. You just need someone of that like different level.
I agree. I think you got. I mean, it depends on who you sell and who you bring in. But if you could bring in a top centre back, and then you get Haaland and Sancho, I think you can. I think you could win it. I don't think it's inconceivable. City or Liverpool's form is always the point, isn't it? Around if City or Liverpool do what they've done in the last few years, like City do now, where they just don't lose, it becomes really hard. But I think an outside chance. Do you know someone put a super chat in earlier that made me laugh? No, not super chat. Someone DM'd me. They were like, Terry, isn't it funny that everyone's raving about Thomas Tuchel's system last night, but it was a moment of brilliance that won the game? And I'm like, that's football. That's exactly. Well, what's really weird is, again, all I'm seeing from United fans on socials all morning is kicking off about how good Chelsea's system looks like inside a few weeks and how Man United ain't got it. And it's like they're attacking Ollie, and it's like, see, you're still attacking the wrong people, because who's employing him? Like Ollie can't make our system as good as Tuchel has made Chelsea's because he's not as good a coach. So attack the board that you conveniently ignore and make them make the change. Like, imagine, like, I mean, it's like if my customers don't like me, I can't. I can give it. If everyone, a lot of people want you off the show, David. This is a better example. They want you off the show because they don't like your views on Mount. Them shouting nonsense at you isn't going to make you leave. If they want you off, they've got to speak to me about it, right? They've got to come for me, right? And they're not. So it's like nothing's going to change. Not if they come for me, it's going to change because David's here to stay as long as he wants to be. Latimus is here with us now. Here he is. Oh, Indiana's back as well. Latimus is here. Laddie, you had a nice morning?
A late morning.
What? Why are you sitting like that? Why can't we see you?
I literally just woke up.
Why? It's 11 o'clock in the afternoon.
Woke up and put your sunglasses on, right?
No, he sleeps in them. What is that you're drinking out of? That's like one of them piss jugs. What is that?
It's tea.
Why have you got tea in a pouring flask? What is this? Laddie, let me see that again.
What?
The cup.
Let me see that cup again, bruv.
No,
come on, man. No, listen. I want to see it. You're drinking tea. That's madness. I've never seen someone drink tea. It looks like, do you know what it looks like? My daughter's got one of them that she helps me water the garden with. It just looks like... the Podfather here. No one's guessed the phrase yet. No one has guessed the phrase yet. We're ending the stream very soon, so get your super chats in to guess the phrase that's in here. People, there's a super chat though from the Podfather who says Haaland will deal with low blocks the same way that Vardy does. Clever movement, aligned with great coaching. Equally, he's going to have either Chelsea or City, which I think are the two most likely places for him to go. He's going to have ridiculously lots of people supplying him. Someone says Terry said 11 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm a working man. 11 o'clock's almost the evening for me, bruv. It's almost the evening for me. Staying in bed. Honestly, if you Prime, get out of bed earlier, 7 o'clock. Get up, exercise, eat food, start your day. None of this staying in bed till 11 o'clock. Jesus Christ.
No, I usually do it, but again, I was doing something.
With a lady last night. Is she there? Turn the camera around. I want to ask her how she feels about your Manscaped Kiwis. Only joking. Prime.
Terry, can I just say a bit on Raiola?
Yes, push camera.
So Raiola works for the players. The players don't work for him, for one. So I know people get frustrated with what he says, but that's because he's great at what he does. He's great at getting the right deals, big deals for players, moving them on. But the Haaland camp will decide where he goes. That's what will happen. It won't be Raiola deciding, which is why I don't know whether Chelsea are the first choice. I don't know nothing tells me that Haaland wants to go to Chelsea like it's his dream move. Sancho, on the other hand, I could see going to Chelsea. I think if Chelsea went in for Sancho, he tells United, "No, it's not going to happen. I'm going to Chelsea. I'm moving. That's where I want to play football."
Yeah, do you know? I don't know. Their options are open, and that's the point. I don't think they're going to sort of tie themselves down to one particular club or make it sort of obvious that they want to go somewhere in particular, like you're suggesting. I think it is fairly open ended. There's no doubt about that at all in my mind. That he could. I think they're all an option. It's why Raiola said there's 4 clubs in England that can afford him. He's putting him in the shop window now because they would want the move this summer. This summer would mean more money for everybody, including Dortmund. Dortmund won't say this publicly, but they'd prefer it to be this summer. Bless you, David. They'd prefer it to be this summer. We're going to add Alex to the call here. Alex is a Chelsea fan. Stacey of the Super Chat says all these Bruno haters are just pure jealous. Well, we know that. We absolutely know that. 110%. We know that. We're going to bring Alex onto the show now. Alex, welcome to the Terrace. What do you want to say, bro?
Hey Terry, all right? How was everyone?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Yeah, I've just been here. I think the thing is, I think with Haaland, I think he is kind of that. He's got everything about him. He's literally he's that kind of player who's not just he can do one thing. He's got the height, he's got the strength, he's got the pace, he's got the touch. He's very underrated in those kind of even the link up play. I think he's very underrated in that play. And but if we did bring Sancho and Haaland both in, I think we would be a dangerous team. But I think we would still need that experience to kind of maybe go in and win the Premier League. I think that at the moment, I think we have a lot of young players in the squad that will be starting for the next 1 or 2 seasons. But we have to have the right balance from experienced players to the young players. Like, look, for example, the Barcelona's, Real Madrid's, Bayern Munich's, they always have a good balance from the experienced players to a young player. So I think we need to find that balance at the moment. We don't have that at the moment, I think. So that's, I think, our next step. But yeah, Haaland, he would be brilliant, and then Tammy can just go away, just move on.
Listen, no, I agree with you. He's so underrated. It's unbelievable. People just, I don't know why. So much sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of not uneducated views on him, but just sort of weird stereotypes thrown his way. He's tall and he's lanky. He's got side parting blonde hair. That must mean he's X. It's so strange. It really,
a bit like Thomas Tuchel when he first came in. Well, I don't want Tuchel. He's not a good manager. Suddenly, all the Chelsea fans are like, "Oh, this Tuchel he's a massive upgrade on Lampard, isn't he?"
Yeah, it's. I think Haaland's footballing ability will shock a lot of people in terms of how good it is. Alex, thank you very much for coming on and having your say. Gentlemen, thank you all. Time, please, gentlemen. It's the bell's ringing.
Terry, can I just ask David a question? Do you remember in the summer, David, when you said about Dortmund are making so much money in Germany, they won't be selling players this summer? Do you remember that? The market was so good. And I said, no, people will be able to go in for Haaland. Sancho will be cheaper this year. But Chelsea didn't want Haaland because they signed Timo Werner. I was told he was going to be an elite striker in the Premier League. So Chelsea fans now saying that Timo's not cutting it. Is that what they're saying?
No, I'm saying we
need to go for a Haaland.
No, I'm saying we play both.
Timo's that good striker, that incredible striker that all the Chelsea fans were saying that he was, or he's not good enough, and you need Haaland.
Why have one incredible striker when I can have two?
Okay,
I can have two. I can start.
Spoken like a true billionaire.
I could have two. I could have two incredible strikers. Does that mean I'm going to have to lose somebody else? Yeah, but if I have to sacrifice a Pulisic or a Ziyech, a Mount, a Havertz for a Haaland, I'm probably going to do it. Like Havertz, Mount, they all have tremendous potential. But everything that they're talking about, the way Mount and Havertz can be in the future, that's Haaland now. And he's younger than them. So I want Haaland for effectively as long as possible.
There we go. He answered it. South London's finest here says Werner will be back in Germany next summer. I just want to say as well, big shout out to Mel. Just supportive message. I know I had a lot of crap on social media again the last 24 hours. So big shout out to yourself. Keep doing your thing and don't allow the haters to bring you down is all I'm going to say. We'd like to support part of all Football Terrace people that have been on before. Final super chat. DJ says Mount has tremendous potential. Are you okay, David?
I've always said it about it. Legit. People just think I say nothing good about the. I'm like, no, he's good, but that's all he is right now. I'm talking as of today, the 24th of February, 2021. He's just a good player. That's all he is. But in the future, do I expect him to be one of Chelsea's captains? Yes, I do. I can see that pathway for him. So I don't have an agenda. I just want what's best right now, not what's best in 5 years.
He wants it here and now. Listen, Everyone is tuning in. Thank you. Remember, we are sponsored by Manscaped. You can get 20% off of all your male grooming products right about now. And as Prime can attest to, it does wonders for your confidence. It does wonders for your fragrance. And it does wonders for your love life. Oh, quickly, before we go, he's arrived. I never want to air the man out. KJ's joined us. KJ's here. KJ Linton. How you doing, bro?
You're a funny guy, bro. KJ Linton, my ass, fam. Man,
KJ just woken up as well, I can tell.
Yeah, man. Listen. I had to go sort out this pro clubs team, fam. Everyone out here dropping stinkers, bro. Man, I have to do the manager mode and that. You know what I'm saying? All right. You see people, yeah, when they're saying, oh, they need to make Paul Pogba shut up his agent. Pogba needs to make Raiola be quiet. Now that he's clearly made Raiola to like keep his mouth shut, keep the comments down, and focus on the football and that, and focus on your other clients, is anyone going to say fair play Pogba?
Of course they're not. Because that don't fit the agenda, bro. Do you know what I'm saying?
You see what, yeah, and this is what I mean, isn't it? Like, this is what I mean. When you ask people to do things, they do it, and you're still upset. This is why I'm sick of these agendas. This is why man like over there to my right, isn't it? This guy, yeah, with his agenda about Mason Mount, it's ridiculous. Because when you're gonna ask him to score 5 goals, he'll score 10, and you'll be like, why didn't you score 15? And same with Paul Pogba. They say, make sure Raiola don't speak about you. Oh, when Raiola speaks, it's clearly Pogba speaking about the club through him. Well, he's not speaking about United and Pogba anymore. So are we going to give him his props? We're going to give him the praise that he deserves. Well done, Paul Pogba, for telling Raiola to be quiet into the transfer window. Focus on football.
It's about damn time.
Wait, KJ, you're saying we should praise players for doing what they should be doing? Because
no.
I do agree with you. But he should be doing that anyway.
Yeah, but what I'm
That's
saying
what I expect
is
from a player like that.
People have been giving grief and abuse over these things and saying he should be doing certain things. Now that he's done of what you've asked, acknowledge it.
Listen, I hear you. I didn't really think about it from that point of view, but it's a good point that you're making there. My only problem right now is I have got to go. I literally about to end the stream when I see KJ come in. It's a good point. We're back at 1:30 today. That Tottenham podcast is out. It's a great show. Make sure you're tuning into that at 1:30. 5 p.m. we're back. And then after the Sissies Champions League game, we're back live again. And then it's Wednesday. So we all know what Wednesday nights at midnight mean, don't we? Midnight Vibes is here. It's the best show on the football terrace that I'm not on. So make sure.
I see what you did there.
So make sure you're tuning into that. Thank you very much, by the way, to the Glazer Out for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace just before we end. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless.